All right, let's just get right into it. We have all been there. You've got some big, complex, multi-step process you want to automate, and you think, yeah, AI can totally do this. But then you spend hours, maybe even days, trying to craft that one perfect, magical prompt, and the results are just messy, unreliable. It's so frustrating, right? You feel like you're on the verge of something amazing, but it just won't work. So have you ever tried to get an AI to manage an entire workflow, from the initial research to writing a draft all the way to the final review, only to have it get completely lost somewhere in the middle? It's a super common problem. You're trying to build this sophisticated machine, but you're giving it instructions like it's a simple calculator, just feeding it one giant tangled equation and kind of hoping for the best.
But here's the thing, and this is the absolute key to all of this. The problem isn't the AI. The problem is our approach. We have to stop chasing that single, do-it-all magic prompt. Instead, we need to start thinking like an engineer. We need to build a system.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to dig into why single prompts just fall short. Then I'm going to introduce a really powerful new way to think about this, the train and tracks model. From there, we'll get our hands dirty with the actual blueprint for building your own automation engine, see it work in a real-world example, and finally explore how this whole method can totally unlock your creative potential.
Okay, so let's start with the root of the issue, the limits of AI as we tend to use it. You see, chatbots like Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT, they are absolutely phenomenal when you give them one clear task at a time. They can summarize, they can write, they can analyze. Their power is in focused, single-step execution. But when you ask one prompt to juggle an entire complex workflow, well, you're pretty much setting it up to fail. That's just not what it's built for.
So if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, we can't just keep trying to write better single prompts. We have to fundamentally change our approach. And that starts with a new way of thinking, a new mental model that completely reframes how we should be working with these incredible tools.
And this metaphor is perfect. Think of Gemini as this incredibly powerful train engine. It has all the horsepower, it can do all the heavy lifting. But an engine without tracks? Who knows where it's going to end up? That's where NotebookLM comes in. It provides the tracks. It's the reliable, structured system that guides the engine, making sure it gets exactly where you want it to go every single time.
So what's the technology that makes NotebookLM the perfect set of tracks? It's something called a RAG system, which stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Now, instead of just making stuff up, it first goes and looks at facts from a knowledge base that you provide. This means it follows your instructions to the letter. And this is the best part. If it doesn't know something, it just says so. No more hallucinations.
All right, so that's the theory. The whole train and tracks model makes a lot of sense. But how do we actually build this thing? Let's get into the practical side of it, the actual blueprint you can use to build a functional system for pretty much any workflow you can think of. The whole process really breaks down into 4 clear steps. First up is the brain dump, literally just getting your entire process out of your head and onto the page. From there, you define the phases, which means organizing that messy dump into logical steps. Step 3 is to write your mega prompts. These are the super detailed instructions for each one of those phases. And finally, you create the router prompt. That's the master controller for the whole show.
Now that term, mega prompt, might sound like one single massive command, but it's actually the exact opposite. Think of it as a collection of several small, really specific, detailed prompts all linked together to handle one complete stage of your workflow, like doing all the research or writing the first draft.
And if the mega prompts are the individual musicians in the orchestra, the router prompt is the conductor. This is the master controller. It's the prompt that tells the AI which mega prompt to use, when to start it, when to stop, and how to move smoothly to the next step. It directs the entire performance.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this real. We're going to walk through a perfect, real-world example, building an engine to automate how a creator handles all of their incoming sponsorship emails.
So this right here, this is what that first step, the brain dump, actually looks like. It's messy. It's the creator's raw thought process, just typed out. You can see the steps in there, check if it's legit, auto-reject certain categories, figure out the price, write the email. This is the raw material, the clay we're going to work with.
And now, watch this. This is where we start building. We take one little idea from that brain dump, check if they're legit, and we expand it into a super detailed instruction for a mega prompt.
We're not just asking if it's real. We're asking for deep research. Who's the CEO? What's their revenue? What are their Trustpilot reviews? This is how you build a process that's truly robust.
And this right here, is the absolute beauty of using a RAG system as your tracks. The workflow kicked in and looked for an email. It couldn't find one. So instead of just making up a fake sponsorship offer to try and please you, it just tells you the truth. That honesty is what makes the whole system reliable. You know it's working from a foundation of facts.
So we've built an efficient, reliable automation engine. That's fantastic for productivity. But the real power here, the game changer, isn't just about saving time on boring tasks. It's about what you can create with all that newfound time and mental energy.
I mean, this number really says it all. The creator who built this system saw their channel's growth triple. Why? Because automating all that administrative, repetitive work freed them up to actually be more creative, to develop bigger ideas, and to focus on the stuff that really moves the needle. And here's the ultimate payoff. Your workflow engine transforms into a creative asset factory. With one single input and one well-built process, you don't just get one thing back. You can generate an entire suite of valuable assets, a video overview, a full slide deck, mind maps, scripts, even thumbnail ideas. It is a massive force multiplier for anyone who creates things.
And just look at the quality this system can produce. We're not talking about generic, templated garbage. This is a professionally designed slide deck that was generated automatically, and it's filled with insightful frameworks and even data visualizations. This is high-level, analytical, and creative work happening on demand.
So, when you shift your thinking from writing single prompts to building a structured system, you transform AI from just a simple tool into a powerful, reliable partner. It can handle your most complex work, freeing you up to do your best, most creative work. So the only question left really is, what complex system are you going to build first?